this isn't a political statement at all, just an economic one.
Mm-hmm.
When you give everyone cash at the same time,
Yes.
and everyone's spending cash at the same time, and then people have loans, when you do that, what you do is that increase in income for everyone across the board is going to result in an increase in prices across the board.
Simple supply and demand.
Simple supply and demand. That's just the way economics works, and
Right.
that's what we saw. Now you have crazy not a recession. You have really high
Housing,
prices,
gas prices.
everything.
Right.
Everything increases.
And isn't that the crazy part? Even though housing is through the roof. So I've been thinking about this a lot. Even though housing is through the roof, right? People are still buying. Why are they still buying? That's the question. So
Yeah.
you have to look at the development side.
Yes.
On the development side, single family homes aren't being made anymore.
No.
They are only things being made, two main things: warehousing space
Yep.
and apartments.
Yes.
Okay. You go down to the Inland Empire, right? And what do you see? You see crazy housing communities coming up, right? Apartment communities.
Yeah.
And what's right next to it? Warehousing. What are they trying to do? They're trying to get the warehouse workers to live right next door.
Exactly. No, that you nailed it. And I think another part of that, to part of that puzzle is, you got to realize those Gen Xers that we just talked about,
Mm.
Yeah.
they're locked into 2%, 1% interest
Absolutely.
mortgages.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have no incentive to sell their property.
Why
and
would
take,
they?
And why would
Right.
they? Why would they? Even if it's like a $5 million, then they're going to have to go to
Pay rent some
pay
crazy
rent
price.
someplace crazy price, or take a 7% interest mortgage.
Mm.
Why do that? I'm just going to sit on my property and wait this out.
Yep.
So what that does is it takes so much property out of the supply part
Yep.
that I need to buy a house because I need to preserve my income, and it's like that's where we want to start growing our next egg a little bit, is because
Mhm.
it's a little bit stable, and I mean over of course a long
Period of time.
period of time it's stable, and it's like, okay, I have to get a $900,000 condo that was 300,000 10 years ago,
Mm.
but I'm gonna pay for that price. Why? Because there's nothing else on the market.
Right.
So you're like, you just have to acclimate to that new price.
Yeah.
Prices are sticky going down, which means I don't anticipate these prices going down anytime soon severely.
Right.
But
Something I've been reading on, just at least in Southern California. So in the last 3 months, housing prices have decreased by 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
So it's something not great, right? I mean,
the discount for sure.
it's a discount, right?
Yeah.
For people that are making probably $200,000+ a year.
yeah.
So
Makes it affordable for people at the top.
exactly. makes it
Always
for,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then what happens is, like, where are those houses, right? Like, are they in like high demand areas like Glendale, like,
Exactly.
I don't know
Yeah,
that
I
they're in
don't
those
know.
areas.
Yeah.
Those areas might be like 1 to 2%.
Yeah.
But it might be like areas that are like
Suburban.
East Vale or something.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the other one?
More
like
inland.
Santa Clarita, like those
In the valley.
areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even here, like, I mean, it's still the suburbs, right? They call it the mid counties
Yeah.
across the 605. You're seeing some discount there. But even here, like, you're seeing 1,000, 1,200 square foot houses for $1 million. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening? How are you
Yeah.
paying like $500 a square foot when you're buying? It's crazy.
all those people,
Yeah.
and what I think that is there's a lot of overseas investors that they just had access to low interest loans.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm gonna buy cash. I'm just gonna buy
100%.
I'll put 300,000 over asking price. I don't care.
Yeah.
And you as a home buyer is like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take more money.
course, yeah.
Of course I'm gonna take more money.
Right.
Sorry, family who scrimped and saved to come up with 20% over the past 10 years. This cat, from Dubai,
Yeah.
he's paying me like 500K over his asking price, and there's
Right.
no way that family could afford that.
Right.
So it's like, once you get these scooped from under you, it's
Yeah.
like it's gonna establish the new rate for houses.
Mm.
But what's happening now? As soon as you pump up the interest rate, where they're like, oh, I can't access that kind of income anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they're not doing that anymore.
They're not. Yeah.
That's frozen now.
Yeah.
And then buyers are like, oh, but I wanted to sell for 1.5 million. They're like, well, here's the family again. Now they want it for 900. That's where you see that kind of coming. I think that's where you're seeing a lot of that movement.
So I heard a fact, or supposedly a fact, a statistic, I should say. I think RFK actually said it. He said that by 2030, BlackRock State Street, they're going to own 60% of the housing market by 2030 if it doesn't
Residential?
stop. Residential.
That's crazy.
Really?
That should be. I mean, to me, that's kind of like a monopoly in a way. I mean, they're monopolizing how people live. I mean, a standard of life, right? Housing house.
100% agree.
And
60%.
they're going to own if it continues going the way it's going.
That's wild.
That's insane.
Just like he was saying, just like overseas investors are coming in, these massive conglomerate corporations are coming in as well.
Right.
Like there's this, at least in the warehousing space, there's this company called Prologis. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they are eating up every warehousing space right now because of what happened over the pandemic. They saw the trajectory.
Yeah.
And then they executed. They've been buying everything, and they're giving decent rates. Not even crazy. They make their building. They'll reconstruct a Class C building, make it a Class A building, and then they'll just keep acquiring.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see on the freeway now. Look out for. You'll see on the freeway. If you look out, you'll just see Prologis.
I've seen that.
Yeah, you've seen that.
I've
Yeah,
seen that.
exactly.
And I'll tell you what the crazy thing is. It doesn't seem like a problem now if they're giving good rates, right? But it's kind of like the Instagram effect, where it's like, yeah, they're really friendly to
Yeah.
users in the beginning stages, but once you've accumulated and you've hit that critical mass
Yep.
of users, right?
Yep.
Now you're like, oh, they depend on us because we have a monopolized on this
Power
this
shifts.
You have the
Exactly.
supply, yep.
Now what are they doing? You want to post and you want your friends to see your post, you have to boost your post.
Right.
You want people to see your live reel, you got to boost your live reel. Everything is nickel and diming, and it's gotten so crazy that like before it was at least you were paying only to Instagram. But now, and I'll tie it back to what we're talking about. But now Apple's in the mix of saying, "Oh, you're paying Instagram, but you're using our phone to do it." No, you have to pay Apple now $15. So before, where
Instagram has to pay Apple, right?
no, you do.
We do.
You do now. Now it says
In order to boost a post.
in order to boost a post. At least for my
Wow.
business accounts,
Okay.
it's like you want to pay $20 for a boost, you have to pay $15 or $10.
Wait, really?
to Apple. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, once we get off, I'll definitely
Yeah,
I'll show
sure,
you
yeah.
what it looks like. But it's like you have to pay both now. And going back to the kind of what we're talking about in the sphere of like warehouses,
Yeah.
I can envision that once they have critical mass in terms of if they've taken like if you don't have options to go for a warehouse, you best believe they're
You're
going to
gonna pay.
increase the prices.
100%.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
And what is that? Okay, but where does that translate to? Let's think about where the world's going, right? It's more I'm buying things online at a faster rate.
Absolutely.
So what is the online prices that we all switched to because they were cheaper? They now go up.
Right.
Right?
As a result. 100%.
As a result.
Yeah.
And what happened to all the mom and pop? And I'm not a political statement, just an economic one.
Yeah.
Like what happened to a lot of the places we used to go, like like GameStop
Yeah.
starts doing
yeah.
gone, or I mean they're still there, but like a lot of these places,
Yeah.
brick and mortar is what I'm trying to say.
Radio
GameStop's going to
Shack,
the moon,
yeah.
though.
Going to the moon. I hope it.
Well,
Hey, to the moon.
Round 3.
I hope. I missed round 1 and 2, but fucking round 3, guys.
Stock wise, at least.
Stock-
Yeah.
yeah.
Stock wise.
But that's kind of the point, man. It's like everything seems so we took it for granted that like we didn't. I mean, in my time, we didn't even have to pay online taxes. Sales tax.
Really?
Because you used to buy from Amazon and it would ship from where? New Jersey, that had no sales tax. So you didn't have to pay sales tax before. Slowly they closed that loophole, and
Yep.
now you do. And then slowly they're like, yeah, well now these warehouse prices are crazy high. So hey, you remember that $10 thing that you used to buy from us that cost 20?
Right.
Well now it's actually 25.
Yeah.
With inflation and everything. So I definitely agree with you, man. I think the housing market's the similar thing. If you have 60%, you
Owned by
don't
one company.
own-
Like,
yeah.
what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're at their whim
Yeah.
because there's not enough supply.
So these big companies are competing with overseas competitors. American families are not even in the mix of this competition.
I don't even think a lot of American families are in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just to give you guys an example, my wife's an attorney. I'm an attorney. Yeah, besides being a comic,
Mhm.
I'm also an attorney, a full-time attorney.
Right.
I didn't go to, and nothing against like lower ranked schools, but I went to a top 14 law school.
Where'd you
It's,
go?
UCLA.
UCLA. Nice.
Yeah, and then my wife went to USC Law. I mean, those are
Nice.
those are
Yeah.
in LA. Those are 1 and 2
Yeah.
for law school, and we are struggling to buy a condo after 5 years of being attorneys. And,
That is crazy.
crazy.
and if you take a look at where our income is,
Yeah.
top 5% earners
Right.
in Los Angeles, where it stacks up. You look at people's incomes, right?
Uh-huh.
If me and her are struggling, and believe you me, I don't eat out, I don't spend my money, and she
Mhm.
doesn't spend her money like on crazy things.
Mm.
We don't go out restaurants every night or anything like that. We don't drive fancy cars. It's like even then it's that difficult. I
Wow.
don't know how someone who's not in that boat is making it right now. Like I just don't understand.
5 years
Yeah.
is wow.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I think what's happening, at least for people that are figuring it out, it's probably a lot of like familial and parental help,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
That's a chunk of it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is side hustles. You know, I think a
Yeah,
side
yeah.
hustle is like
Kind of necessary.
it's
now.
kind of like
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You got to moonlight.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like how they. You know what I love is like it has this like positive connotation
Yeah.
to it. It's like yeah, no, what you're talking about is starting another business to support your life.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, the career that you have wasn't enough. You're going to do a side hustle. Yeah, you mean start a whole new business
Yeah.
to make more money because the thing that you're doing doesn't pay enough. It's hard. For that to be the standard.
It's insane.
It's insane. That we need to like. I love a hustle mindset. We've talked
Mhm.
about this so many times.
Yeah.
I love people that hustle. I love people that grow. I love people that work hard,
Mm.
and I like people that are like work towards their passion.
Mm.
But dude, come on. You're telling me like we got to have 3 fucking businesses and be lawyers to fucking have
And pursue the arts and pursue
the- yeah.
comedy.
Bro, I got to do all that
I have to make people
At
laugh.
40, bro?
Yeah.
at 40, bro. I got to do all that. Why? Why do we have to do that? Well, we just explained why. Like
Right.
it's like you got to have property, you got to have you got to have steady stream of income, man.
You know, and to me, things happen over time, right? We can't anticipate everything, right?
No.
So you
No.
can't anticipate that overseas investors is going to be a result of like globalization. It's just
Yeah.
you can't like oversee that, or like some $1 trillion company is going to come about and buy everything, right? Every small business,
Yeah.
every property. But it's like, okay, now what do you do about it, right?
Yeah.
And to me, having overseas, like having Chinese investors come in or Saudi Arabian investors come in and buy by the masses, there should be some like, hey, we need to protect American citizens here.
Yeah.
And that's just, it doesn't seem like it's happening.
Mhm.
And it's like, where do we go from here? How do we stop a BlackRock from accumulating everything as well? Like there's ways to do it, right? But nobody's talking about it.